Well, hey everybody, it's Paul. Welcome to the Hummer. Filming here because it is the only vehicle I have right now. I am, of course, truckless, and I am in the market for a truck. And I'm trying to decide between the Ford F-250 and the Ram 2500. Probably going to go with diesel, although there's so many issues with the diesels. Sometimes I think I'd be better off getting the gas, but I think I would be dinged on the resale. So as far as this conversation, we're just going to talk about the pros and cons about the trucks themselves and the diesels. So let's talk about the Ford. What's some pros to the Ford? One is payload. Typically the payload's going to be a little bit higher. Why? Because the body is lighter. For one, you got to love the aluminum body. You don't have those rust issues. And it is quite a bit lighter. Of course, the diesel's a little bit lighter than the Cummins diesel as well. And since we're comparing the two diesels, of course, the Ford diesel is quite a bit more peppy than the Cummins. It has more torque. It has more horsepower. For me, my special situation is the price is going to be cheaper on the Ford just because I get the A plan, which knocks off, I'm saying, roughly about 8%. I haven't done it scientifically, but just from talking to different salesmen and seeing the different differences between the prices of sticker and what gets delivered with A plan, it's less than 10%. It's more than 5% off. So it's hard to beat that as well. Yeah, you have to give it to Ford that they include a bunch of safety. And by safety, I'm talking about like backup warnings, side, lane warnings, front, obstacle warnings. A lot of that stuff just comes like standard, where if you want it with the Ram, you have to pay up for all that stuff. Now, how good is it? Well, like here, when I back out of my driveway, there's no houses over there. It's just woods. So I have brush and trees right there. So I have to turn off the backing thing because the Ram takes it right out of gear. If it senses you're getting too close, you can either take it off or it takes it out of gear. That happened all the time with my 1500 that I just sold. So then you turn it off, and then you don't always remember to turn it back on. Of course, that doesn't really help you either. You have to leave it off when you're towing a trailer. So now I've heard some people say they like the Ford, forward sensing, and other people say, they've seen where it's not the best. I guess something's better than nothing, though. So the Ford has a whole lot of advantages. It has the price. It has the lighter weight. It has the no rust on aluminum body. It's a good looking truck. I feel that the Ram, the interior though, is better for me because I have very long legs. My knee hits on the driver's side the way Ford does the cutout for the windows, so you get more visibility lower. It pushes everything back, and the door assembly, the door open handle assembly, it just always hits my left knee. I have to play around with the seats and get it just right. So there's a little bit of like a hole there my kneecap can go into if I set everything just right. The Ram, to me, sits a whole lot better, is more comfortable, looks better. I don't like how Ford seems like they use such a small font for like the speedometer for your speed. I think the Ram definitely has a better looking dash layout, the way that it represents all your different information. A lot of this is obviously choice. It's very subjective, but to me, I prefer the Ram on the inside. So it looks at first blush that the Ford is a hands down winner. It's got to be the favorite, right? I mean, the only advantage that the Ram really has is the interior. But is that the fact? No. Ford diesels have one huge problem, and that is they are still relying on the Bosch fuel pump, the CP4. Now, GM and Ram used to use the CP4. GM moved away from it on the Duramax. They went to the Denslo pump, the Japanese. Ram has been using the Bosch CP3, which works like flawlessly for ages. They went to the CP4 because it delivers more output, which you need if you want to do a torquier and more horsepower engine. But they went back to the CP3 because of all the problems with the CP4. Ford is the only one that has held out. They're still using the CP4, and it is catastrophic when it goes bad. People are saying it's not even an if, it's a when. And the reason is apparently due to the American fuel standards for diesel fuel. Apparently they don't have any problems in Europe using the CP4, but it is because the American government requires our diesel to be so low of sulfur and things that act as a lubricant that over time, the way the CP4 is, it uses kind of like a metal against metal without adding, for people that don't add like lubricants aftermarket or get some water in their fuel, or it makes microscopic air bubbles. There's a lot of theories as to why they fail, but they do fail. And I'm hearing a lot of people saying even if it fails within the warranty, that Ford tries not, because it's so expensive. It's about a $10,000+ repair, because what happens is that fuel pump sends little fragments down into the ejectors, down into everything. So basically you need a new fuel system, and it is expensive. I've watched loads of videos. I've seen there's 6 different class action lawsuits. I've read all the information online, and I'm just frankly scared of going with the Ford. I know not everybody has that issue, but I don't want to be thinking that, oh geez, I got gas. Is this going to be the one time where I got something and it's going to cause a problem with a catastrophic failure? That seriously is what is going to seemingly keep me away from buying the Ford. I'm going to have to pay up for the Cummins. Now, I love Cummins. Everybody loves them. They are slower than the Ford. They're not as torquey. They don't make as much horsepower, but they go down the road and they work, and they work, and they work, and they work, and they pull. They are a whole lot less finicky from what I've read and seen so far than the Power Stroke with the CP4. It has to be sizable, or Ram would not have went back to the CP3. Duramax would not go to the Denso. It has to be enough of a problem that they're like, we are not going to use a CP4 anymore for cars in North America. So talk me out, talk me into the Ford. Tell me I'm wrong going with the Cummins. Let me know what you think. I love the interaction. I love to hear your stories. I'm coming from back in the day, 92. I bought a F-250 new for $22,200 right off the lot. It had the legendary 7.3 International, and it did work well. Of course, now the engines, the diesels, are so much more powerful, so much more torquey, so much more peppy than those old ones. I drove the Ford. That Power Stroke is remarkable. Going uphill at 30, 35, give it the beans and it breaks the tires loose. I mean, talk about torquey. It's nice. I mean, you feel like you're in a sports car instead of a truck. But at the end of the day, do I need that and always have the worry about, am I going to have a catastrophic failure? I've seen people that have had the CP4 fail 7,000 miles, 70,000 miles, which is worse. I mean, 7,000, maybe you can get Ford to fix it. Maybe if you fight them, maybe not. 70,000 miles, they certainly aren't going to fix it. You're already paying a $10,000, $11,000 premium for the diesel. You don't want to be paying another 10 on top of that because the diesel fails because of our low sulfur fuel here. You see, sometimes it makes the gas seem all that much more appealing. I went from my 7.3 diesel, I went to a gas. I went to the Hemi 5.7. Had that on a 250 for a long time. Didn't do a lot of towing though. Then I went to the 1500 and was towing with it, but it kills the gas mileage. It did it. It's not peppy. I definitely think I would be more comfortable in a larger, stronger truck than the 1500 towing in the mountains with the 5.7. It did 2 trips, but I would like to load up my stuff a little heavier and be able to cruise right along. The diesel definitely gives you the power, gives you the torque, gives you the value when you go to sell it down the road. At least that's historically been true from what I've seen. So let me know. Should I just look at the gas? I know a lot of guys are going back to gassers. I don't know. Should I stick with my thinking on the diesel and just go with, well, I shouldn't just say just, I mean, go with the Cummins. Tried and true, goes down the road, performs. Or should I take my chances on the Ford, and if it fails, hopefully they'll fix it. Maybe just drive it for a couple years and sell it. It's an option. I've thought about it. I keep going back and forth. It's the cheaper option, but it's the less comfortable, but it has more safety stuff standard. So basically, I go with the stripped down Ram with the Cummins, or I go with the loaded Lariat with the Power Stroke and take my chances. I don't know what to do. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks always for listening to my car chat, my truck chat, I swear sometimes it seems like you're better off going in blind and not knowing all the issues, and then you have a whole lot less stress about it. But let me know your thoughts. I always value it. Until next time, we'll see yous.